Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Anna and I do all things plus size fashion, beauty, and mom lifestyle. If any of that interests you, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. So for today's video, we're doing a little labor and delivery story time. So I just had my first baby. It's been a little bit over 3 months, so April 10th, 2020, and I really had no idea what to expect. I watched every single labor and delivery story time vlog and all of that YouTube had to offer, and I still just went in there and it was so different than what I was expecting. So yeah, I have my iced coffee here, I'm chilling on the bed, and let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start from the very beginning and hopefully not ramble on too much, but I really want to give you guys like the honest truth, what it's really like. So when I had Mateo, which is my son, it was during like the heat of this whole pandemic situation. So for my last month of appointments, Shane was not allowed to go with me or anything like that, so it was just me. And when I had my last appointment at 39 weeks pregnant, my doctor said that she recommends I get induced because he was measuring small. So he was measuring like 5 pounds and I was almost full term pregnant. So yeah, we decided that it would be best to get induced just to make sure he's okay and everything like that. So my last appointment was on a Tuesday and I went in to get induced on that Thursday. So I went in Thursday night at 6 p.m. to get induced, which if you don't know, usually I feel like when you go in to get induced, it takes like forever before they actually like start the induction. But with like waiting rooms not open and all of that, I literally went in and got started within a matter of 10 minutes, which is super nice. So I just went in, and how they started the induction is they give you, I'm gonna like be really wrong with terms because I seriously do not remember a lot of this stuff, but they give you like this might be a little bit TMI, so I'm just gonna, but it's kind of like a really big tampon that you get, and I think it's called Cervidil. Okay, I don't want to butcher it, I do not know, but it goes in there and you keep it all the way overnight, and it's supposed to help you your cervix thin out. So when I went in, I was 1 centimeter dilated and 60% effaced, so I really wasn't that far along or anything like that. So I kept that overnight and it was fine. The only uncomfortable thing was that you have to have all of those cords on you, like keeping the baby's heartbeat, and then you have IVs and everything, so you can't really get comfortable. And the labor and delivery beds are so uncomfortable. I don't know if it's just my hospital, but I've talked to a few other moms and they 100% agree with me. So it was so uncomfortable. I literally think I maybe slept 10 minutes the whole night. And luckily Shane was, which is my husband, Shane was allowed to be in there with me the whole time. He just couldn't leave. So if he left, he wasn't allowed to come back, but we didn't leave and all of that stuff. So he got some sleep, but I literally could not sleep at all. And I was getting hungry because you're not allowed to eat. And yeah, so the first night I didn't sleep at all, and they came in the next morning to check me again. And I was still only 1 centimeter dilated, but I was 100% effaced. So I was like, okay, that's good. So right after that, they like immediately put me on Pitocin, which starts you on contractions. So they started me on level 5 Pitocin, and I don't know if it's called level, I'm just gonna say that, but they started me on level 5 Pitocin, and that really, I wasn't really getting contractions too much after that. So they came in and they broke my water, which I was really scared about them doing for some reason. Like, I was so terrified because like it's just like this long kind of like hooky thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But literally it felt like nothing. I didn't even feel them do it. It was just like so easy. So yeah, they broke my water. And after that, you have to be really careful because you're kind of completely open. So bacteria can get in there and all of that stuff because you don't have that like protective barrier layer kind of thing. So they broke my water, and they upped my Pitocin, and they kept checking me, and I was not progressing. So I was still at 1 centimeter, which I was really scared because if you don't progress, that can result in a C-section, and I really wanted to have a natural delivery, vaginal birth, and all of that. So after they broke my water and upped my Pitocin to 10 now, so I was at a 5 and now I'm at a 10, I started getting contractions like super irregularly, and I had not had any up to this point. So this was like the first ones I was getting. So I really didn't know what they were supposed to feel like. In my mind, I'm just like really bad period cramps because that's what everyone says. So I started to get like them irregularly, and I don't know what was happening, but they weren't marking on my chart that I was getting them. So I was like, is this really a contraction or is it just in my head? I have no idea. So I went like the whole morning with not progressing, barely having these contractions, and they were, when I had them, pretty painful, but I don't know, it didn't feel right. So they upped my Pitocin again to a 15, and she put me on just like a pain medicine, not the epidural or anything, just like this pain medicine that made you kind of loopy and stuff like that. So that completely took away any pain. When I was on that pain medicine, I was like, I can push this baby out right now. I was on the pain like medicine for, I think it lasted like 45 minutes. And after that, my contractions started coming again. And the doctor was like, up her Pitocin to 30. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So they upped my Pitocin to 30. And literally almost immediately, I started having contractions. No joke, every 45 seconds. So I could see like in my labor and delivery room, the charts of every other person having a baby at the same time. So I don't know if that's normal or if that was just a mistake or whatever, but every other person was like, boop, boop. And on mine, it was literally up, down, up, down, up, down, like no break in between. So I'm like, is this normal? Am I literally about to have a baby? I had no idea. I didn't know what to do. So I'm just sitting here like, it was almost like hysterical. Like me and Shane would kind of like start laughing because I would get literally 45 seconds of relief and then get another one, and they were huge, like skyrocketing all the way to the top contractions. A contraction to me did not feel like period cramps. Like people say that all the time and I do not agree. It basically felt just kind of like a tightening, burning feeling, and like it's up high. So whenever I was having them, it's not like it's down there yet. It was like up high, like my whole stomach kind of, and your whole stomach gets really, really hard and tough. So yeah, I kept having them, and she literally ran in, put my Pitocin back down to 5, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So then she checked me again, and I was like, okay, I have to be ready. Like, that was crazy. I'm about to push him out. And I was only 2 centimeters. My gosh, like really? So I had only progressed to 2 centimeters. It is literally like 1:30, 2 o'clock. So I had been there almost 24 hours. So I tried to put off having the epidural, but she kept saying like, you know, you should just get it. You should just get it. So I was like, okay, like I'm ready. So the guy came in, the anesthesiologist, where I know, and like I keep referring to other vlogs, but I thought that he would come in like an hour after I requested it, but it was like I requested it and in 10 minutes he was here, he was ready. I really wasn't scared because you're literally having contractions this whole time, which are way worse than that little bee sting that they refer to as, you know, how it feels when you get the epidural. So he had me sit up on the side of the bed, hunch my back over, and no one was allowed to stand behind him. So Shane and the nurse had to be in front of me. So he comes in and I didn't see the needle, but Shane said it really was not that big. So he was like, it's not this gigantor needle that you hear about. So he said it was like that big, so nothing bad. But he did say that when he was doing it, he had like gloves on and he would lift his hands and you could like see blood all over his gloves. And I'm like, ugh. But anyway, it doesn't hurt really at all. It's a very tingly type like feeling because it's on your spinal cord. But the problem with mine is he had to redo it 3 times. So he would do it and I'd be like, okay, it's not that bad, but you have to stay completely still. So you're having these contractions and you literally cannot move. So I'm holding myself wanting to like scream, but you can't because he's giving you this like epidural, which if you don't know, it's not just a shot. It's like it's kind of like an IV type thing where they put it in you and then you can get it administered through one of those IV bags. So forever, I just thought it was like a shot they give you in your back, but it's not. You can keep getting more of it until you have your baby. So yeah, he kept doing it and he was like, I don't like the way that looks. I don't like the way that looks. And would redo it over and over again. And finally, by the 3rd time, he was like, all right, we're good. And literally within a matter of 5 minutes, I was like, this is great. Like I didn't feel any contractions. My chart was still going crazy and I could not feel them. And the worst part about an epidural is getting a catheter because usually your legs, like you can't move them, so you can't get up to go to the bathroom. So they give you a catheter and it feels like a constant UTI because they're constantly draining your bladder, so you're not actually peeing, they're just draining it, which is very strange because I was like, oh, so I pee and it just goes in a bag. But no, you don't pee. As soon as there's, you know, stuff in there, it's just being drained. So it was very uncomfortable and I could not wait to get that removed. So after my epidural, I felt great for 30 minutes. So now it's like 3 o'clock, a little bit after 3, and then immediately I started to get this horrible poop pain, okay? So I literally was like, I am about to literally like poop my pants, and I could still move my legs and stuff like that. So I could still move my feet and feel my knees and all of that. So it didn't numb my legs completely. So I could pretty much feel everything except for right around my stomach. So literally 10 minutes, I'm like literally crying because I am going to poop my pants. Like I literally was like, how is this happening? Freaking out. I'm like, I haven't ate. What's going on? So, and she brings in this peanut ball, which is the bouncy balls, but it's shaped like a peanut, and you put it in between your legs so that you're not like closing your legs. So it lets your baby move down and get ready. So I had that in between my legs and it was horrible because before this I was able to like clutch and be like, I can hold it in. But now it's like you literally are just like open and all of that. So I'm literally like screaming like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to poop. I need you guys to know that is exactly what it feels like. So then another nurse comes in and I'm talking to her. I'm like, I really have to go. Like, I can't have this baby unless I go to the bathroom. So then she was like, okay, you know, let me just check you really quick. And she checks me and she literally said, no, your baby is literally coming out right now. So I think my my nurse just didn't check me because I was 2 centimeters and within 30 minutes I was at a 10. So I literally progressed in like less than 30 minutes to a 10. So I was like, really? And she was like, yes, you have to push right now. So the doctor's not here, they don't have any table set up, and she was like, push. So I'm just like, what's going on? And how it works when you like push is, I always thought you're just pushing and you're taking breaks, but your body tells you when to push. Like, you know, it literally, you get a contraction, but it's different. It's not the same as the contractions before, and I could feel all of these ones. So it's like a different, I don't know how to describe it, but you get them pretty much every 10 seconds, and they are 10 seconds. So you push usually 3 times. So every contraction gives you like 3 times to push. And honestly, like, pushing is so relieving. Like, your body wanted to do it for so long. Like, this whole time I literally thought I just had to take a huge dump. Like, TMI, but I have to be honest, that's what I thought this whole time. But no, it's literally the baby. Like, that's what it feels like. I can't even express it any other way. So she was like, time to push, time to push. So I start pushing. No doctors here. No, we are not prepared. Like, every single video I watch, they're like, oh, we're gonna do some practice pushing, and then we're gonna push in 10 minutes from now. And I was like, dude, I just got this epidural. Like, what's going on? How is this happening? How am I ready? And so she was like, push. So I start pushing, and in between every push, I'm literally like, water! Shane, get me water! So I'm chugging this water, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready, I'm ready. And the doctor's not even here yet. After 2 pushes, the doctor runs in, she's trying to get this table all ready, and they're like, we can see his head, we can see his head. And I'm just like, what? I was like, I just started this like 2 minutes ago. So the nurse kept saying like, let's meet your baby. And that's what really gets you, is like, let's meet your baby. So she's like, push, push, push. So the doctor finally comes in, and what was really scary is, since I don't know how long I was at a 10, because I don't think anyone was expecting me to like progress that quickly. So his heartbeat kept going down to like 60, and if you don't know, baby's heartbeats are supposed to be up to like 150 and stuff like that. So his heartbeat kept going down, and I don't know if it's because he was like, you know, down, ready to be pushed out for so long, or what was going on. So I had to switch positions, and so I was laying on this side, I was laying on this side, I was laying on this side, and they kept being like, turn, because they were trying to make sure his heartbeat went up. So I would turn, his heartbeat would go up, I'd turn, his heartbeat would go up, and I was just pushing the entire time. And it was like literally 10 to 15 minutes, and she was like, we need to give you oxygen. So she gave me like this oxygen mask just to like make sure I was okay. And she used a vacuum for his head. So it's like this, like, I don't know how to describe it, but I watched her do it, and it's literally just like this thing that sticks to the top of their head and like helps yank them out. So she stuck that to his head, and she was like, all right, give me one more push. And I'm like, I've only been pushing for 15 minutes. How do I only have one more push? So I'm like, there's no way this is actually gonna be, you know, one more push. I feel like they always say that, but I'm like, okay. So I push really hard, and all of a sudden he's literally just on this vacuum, and he's out, and that was that. And it really was not as bad as I was expecting. Like, I was not screaming. I never once said like, I can't do it anymore. And it probably was because it was so fast. So I know that a lot of people push for hours and hours to get them out, and I literally give them so much props, because that would be crazy to keep pushing. Like, I was just doing one of my clients' hair the other day, and she literally told me she pushed for 5 hours. Like, 5 hours of trying to push him out. That is crazy. So yeah, it was literally 15 minutes and he was out. And literally the feeling of right after you have a baby and you're just laying there and you're like, I did that. It's like the best feeling ever. But okay, so I've had a lot of people ask me about like delivering the placenta, which a lot of people are like, it's crazy. It's like you give birth and then you have to give birth again. And it is the easiest thing in the world. So I got to like hold him and stuff like that for a little bit, but they took him and wanted to make sure he was all okay and breathing okay and everything like that. So she was like, all right, Anna, we're gonna deliver your placenta. And I'm just like, okay, what do I have to do? And she's like, nothing, you just lay there. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just laying here and it's literally just like, it just feels like it falls out. Like it's literally, you feel no pain, it comes out. You don't do anything. I literally just laid there and it was over in like 5 seconds. So after they deliver the placenta, you get stitched up. So I ripped from A to B, but it was only a 1st degree rip, which they were kind of explaining to me was just like exterior. So it was just the exterior. There was no like interior ripping, which was really nice. So my epidural had pretty much like worn off. I didn't really like I felt everything the entire like time. I could like move my legs and stuff. So I felt her like stitching me up, but it really like you're so numb down there that it's not like, you don't just like feel it like ripping open kind of thing, which is like what a lot of people think, but it wasn't like that. And then her stitching me up literally took, I think 10 minutes just because I didn't like really rip that much, but they kept Mateo because he had like something with his breathing, so they wanted to take him down to the NICU because he was making this weird sound, which they were like, we don't think anything's wrong, but they wanted to take him down for sure to check. So they took him down there, and after you have an epidural, you're not allowed to move for 2 hours. So Shane was down there with him, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad. Like I didn't get that like hour of like skin to skin, which I filled out that I wanted, but they wanted to make sure he was okay. So I totally understand that. So after they stitched me up, it's like I was literally just laying there, like, and all of these people would come congratulate me, and I'm like, I'm literally laying here like naked, and all these people are coming in like, oh, you did so good, and I'm just like, yeah, like, thank you. And every 15 minutes the nurse comes in and she pushes on your stomach, which I think is honestly like the worst part of this whole thing. And it's not painful, but like even thinking about it now, I'm getting like, ugh, because your stomach after you have a baby is literally all mushy. Like it's not hard at all. Everything is all jumbled around, and they're just pushing so hard, and every time it's just all this blood just flowing out of you, and it's all over your legs. Like, I know it's gross, but yeah, she would just keep pushing every 15 minutes, and I would literally be like, I don't want her to come in, I don't want her to come in, just because it's like such an uncomfortable feeling. You're not used to your stomach just being that like mushy, and there's like no, like when you push, even though like I have a mushy stomach to begin with, I can still feel it hard in there, and that was not the case. So she would do that, and I was like, you know what, you can do it as long as you bring me food. So I had some crackers and peanut butter, and they were the best crackers and peanut butter I've ever had in my life. I was so hungry. And so after that, I laid there for 2 hours with her coming and pushing in every 15 minutes. And eventually they were like, okay, it's time to get you up and take you to the bathroom. So I'm like kind of freaking out about like peeing, like going to the bathroom. And I know that you can't use toilet paper. And that was like a huge fear of mine. I'm like, how on earth am I not gonna be able to use toilet paper? I was like, those little spray bottles they give you, like, does that really work? Like, I am a toilet paper fanatic. Like, I use a lot of toilet paper. So she's like, let's go to the bathroom. So they helped me get up, and I walked to the bathroom, and literally it's just like everything's just out there. It's all over your legs. You're just sticky. And then since Mateo laid on me, my whole chest is sticky and stuff like that. So I'm just the whole time thinking like, okay, when can I get in the shower? And she was talking to me. My nurse was like, you did so good. And I'm just like, dude, I have never felt this good in my life. I feel like $1,000,000. Like after you have a baby, like immediately, I don't know if it's just me, but I felt unstoppable. I'm like, I can do this all the time. I can do this again. Like I did it. And so yeah, after that, they finally put a gown on me because I didn't have like a gown. I just had my bra on. So they put a gown on me. They put nice cozy socks on me, and they had me sit in a wheelchair. They had me sit in a wheelchair, and they got hot towels right from the dryer, wrapped me in them, and I'm like, I felt like a queen, you guys. I had the queen treatment, and they rolled me over to the postpartum room, and Mateo and Shane were still in the NICU, but I had just got word that they're about to come up, and I was literally like, I get to meet my baby, like actually meet him when I am like in my mind, like I can actually meet him. So Shane walks in and they bring him in, and it's like the best feeling ever. So after that, they come in every like hour to start pressing on your stomach and getting all the stuff out, so it gets a little bit better. And I kept asking if I can shower, but they wouldn't let me shower until they want to wait 24 hours until after you have the baby, but they let me shower like the next morning. So I had to sleep like feeling gross and sticky. So they were just really worried that you're gonna like slip and fall in the shower, because usually after you have an epidural, like you can't really like move. So I was like, I slept all sticky and stuff, but let me tell you, it was like such a nice sleep, because the postpartum bed is so comfortable and like compared to the labor and delivery bed. So it was like so nice, and every time you wake up you're just like, I have a little baby, what? So it's like immediately you are ready to go home. Like I really the next morning was like, you know what, I want to go home and be with my dog. I want to go home and just like lay in my bed and bring my baby home and everything like that. So my mom and sister had actually been staying with us for like a week or so prior, because with this whole coronavirus situation, I really didn't want anyone like coming and meeting him if they had not been quarantined. So my mom and sister were quarantined at our house so that they could meet him, and they were watching my dog. So before you leave the hospital, they just need to check to make sure like your stomach's back hard again. So the next day, they came in and my stomach was hard, so we were good. I did not need any more pushing on my stomach, so I was like, thank the Lord. So, and they just give Mateo all of these tests and all of that stuff to make sure he's okay. And you do have to stay for at least 24 hours, but they gave us the option if we wanted to stay 48 or 24. And we wanted to stay 24 hours just because everything with coronavirus, no one was allowed to come in and meet him. And yeah, so literally by the next day at 3:40, we were allowed to leave, which is so awesome. I didn't really get up and move around too much when we were in the hospital. I would like get up to just go to the bathroom. And if I can like, the best way to describe how it feels like is every time you stand up, it feels like everything in your stomach is about to just fall out your butt. Like it literally feels like there's so much pressure, and the only thing that's holding all your insides in is those little bit of stitches. So it was like you walk and you're just like trying to like hold everything in, even though that's not gonna happen, but that is exactly what it feels like. And I tried to like get up and move around as much as I could, because I didn't just want to like not move and get, because you can get blood clots if you move too much or if you don't move enough. So I was trying to just move when I felt comfortable, and basically I would move from sitting on the bed to sitting on the chair to sitting on the couch. So we were finally allowed to leave, and I felt on top of the world. So we came home, and it was so great, and like you literally feel so good, like I keep saying. And the postpartum really is not, for me at least, what I was expecting. So I bought all of those tucks, dermaplast, I bought like the frozen kind of pad things that you're supposed to put in there, and I had a very easy postpartum. Literally, I only used pads. I didn't end up using any cooling things or anything like that. I only really bled heavy for 2 days, and after that, it was like easy breezy. So yeah, I only bled heavy for 2 days, and after that, it was just light. Like I really only needed panty liners, and within a week, I was basically back to doing everything normally. So for a week, it was like getting up, I would need help standing and stuff like that. But after that, it was honestly really easy, and it was nice. So that is the story of my first labor and delivery. Guys, let me know if yours was similar, or if yours was like really horrible, or if anything happened. I really want to like know you guys' stories, because I am only 23 and I am the only one of my friends with a baby. I have a few older friends, but no one that like I've been friends with forever, and I didn't really have anyone to talk to about this. So I really would love to hear you guys' stories, and let me know if it was the same or different or all of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions about anything, or if you're nervous about anything, just also, you can ask me and I will totally answer that. You can follow my Instagram at Anna_Lauricia with 2 A's, which is the same as my YouTube name, and DM me on there, and I'll be sure to love to talk to you about this. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.